Hello, everybody. I'm Gabi. I prefer to be called Gabi, not Gabriela. Mostly because people pronounce my name wrong, so it's easier to say Gabi. Many of you may not know me, and that's okay. You may know my husband because same last name, but we share different passions on the industry. He's more into compilers, PHP internals, I'm more on databases. But I also managed to know a bit of machine learning, machine learning APIs. And I don't want to do this as a marketing talk. I want to show you what you can do without knowing machine learning. I work as a developer advocate, so my job is to teach developers how to use technologies. And first, as I said, I'm a developer. I know APIs, but I don't know machine learning. I don't know TensorFlow. I know a little bit of Python, but I don't know machine learning, and that's the point of the talk. It's to be able to use the machine learning power without having to use those complex models and trainings and the predictions that you need to know. So the goal is to democratize machine learning in general, not just for PhD people, but for the common person to be able to use it. So what is machine learning? Well, I like the definition of a colleague of mine, but first of all, I prefer to think as solving problems without knowing what the specific rules or the solution is. And you learn by experience and expand that knowledge to questions that are about to come for you, so you predict what's going to happen. My colleague says machine learning is a thing labeler, essentially. It's just a thing labeler. It is to show you how to predict stuff and to tell you this is a plushie, this is a color blue, without having a human to do that. So one of the features that I like a lot, and this is one of my favorite passions, it's Google Photos, because it can do stuff like this. It's only possible because of the machine learning behind the product that we have there. This is my puppy. She has an Instagram and a Twitter profile, and she's just a year old, and I miss her much. So and her name is Ada, Countess of Douglas, not Ada Lovelace, but that's it. I want to do an exercise with you. I'm going to show you two images, and I want you to tell me how would you identify those images. So first of all, I have an apple, and I have an orange. How do you differentiate an apple from an orange? Tell me. Color? Texture? Huh? That's a good one. Okay, most people, I heard a lot, people saying color. And what if this is the scenario? We don't have the color anymore, and a machine cannot know the texture. You can see the pattern of it, but it cannot tell you exactly the texture. Or someone said to me when I gave this talk, oh, the taste. I was like, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're not gonna get there. So that one's a bit harder, but this is a bit easier, right? It's a puppy, and there's a muffin. How we differentiate a puppy from a muffin? A puppy has two eyes, has a nose, and a muffin just looks delicious, in my opinion, and because I'm always hungry. But what if the scenario is like this? Is this a dog or a muffin? Or even like this. Yeah, this is my favorite one. So this is a mop or a dog. So that's a problem that you can solve with machine learning, and if you train your model correctly. But how machine learning is based, how does it work? It's loosely based on how the human brain works. It's solving the problem without specifically knowing the solution. It enables you to improve the system over time so you can always have a refined result of what's coming. So Google has 5 APIs. I'm going to focus mostly on 3. And one is the Vision API, the Video API, speech, translation, and natural language. The Vision API, it's actually my favorite. You can have like complex image detection just with a REST call, and I'm not going to be mean to you and have guzzle code to show you here. We have a client library in PHP, so it makes easier instead of implementing, tokens and tokens for authentication, REST calls, getting all that stuff. We made it simple having a PHP library for you. So there is 6 main features. That's not only the features they have. So you can do label and web detection. It's going to tell you what that image is. It can read text out of image for you using OCR technology. It can detect logos if it is like indexed by Google, because we're using Google's data set in here. It can tell you what landmark it is, and crop hints like for you to post pictures on Instagram or that kind of stuff. And it can tell you, because a lot of the content is generated by users, if that image is safe or not. So I'm not as old as Stefan or Rasmus or Derek, but I'm from the time where this was a famous car. I don't know if you know, maybe you don't. It's a Beetle, but it's from a movie, actually. Yeah, it's, I forgot the name. Herbie, yeah. Because I watched, I'm Brazilian, so the movie was dubbed for me, and the name was a lot different. So for me, it's hard for me to remember the name in English. So with an API call, with this image, we have this result. It tells you the description. The API is going to return you a lot of results, and the JSON response, in this case, I'm just getting car, Volkswagen Beetle, and Volkswagen. It doesn't know that's Herbie, because it depends on the context of where the image was. Another example is, I have this image, and who else have the same image on their website? And who else, what other images are similar to that? That's very useful if you think about it, like you took a picture and you put it on your blog, but it's proprietary, and someone starts copying it and putting it on their website, modifying it. So that case for copyright infringement is a good case to look for, to see on the web, scan the web, to see if there is a different, your image is there. I have a demonstration here. Let's hope it works. Depends on the Wi-Fi. So there is a package. It's the Google/Cloud on Composer. Let me put it in here. And this is going to install all Google Cloud's libraries, because you could do Google Cloud Vision, Google Cloud Language. If you just put the whole library, it's going to pull all of the client libraries that we have in PHP there. So I'm going to execute this code, and I want you to help me to detect which landmark it is. So once you instantiate the Vision client object, you can pass a URL with the image. It could be a Google Cloud Storage bucket, could be the file itself, you opening on PHP and sending it, and I'm telling here I want to know about landmarks on this image. So I'm going to show you the image, and I want your help. Which landmark is this? Okay. So now we get the annotations of that image, and I'm going to get all the landmarks associated with that image. It's going to return an entity object, and that's, oops, almost. I'm going to show you that this is not the Eiffel Tower. This is the Paris Hotel, and casino in Las Vegas, and I can show you here. And if you look here, Paris, Las Vegas, and it's there. So it's capable. A human would classify this, and most of you did, as the Eiffel Tower. And I have another one. Is there someone here that speaks Portuguese beyond me? Ah, okay. And let me change this so you can see the image. This one's famous. But you don't trust me, right? Well, I wonder why. It's not. It's the 25th of April Bridge in Portugal. It's similar to the Golden Gate Bridge, but it's not the Golden Gate Bridge. And if you look here, here's Lisbon, and there it is. So with simple piece of code, you can see details about images and labels and landmarks, logos, and that kind of stuff. I have another one. Those are going to show entities. I want to show you similar images that are visually similar with this picture that I have in here. So this is me and Anthony and our puppy. Once you have the image here, I put it on a Google Cloud Storage bucket. But again, it could be the image itself. It's gonna, let me execute, it's still execute. I think I lost connection because this means it's executing. Is internet working for you? It's not working for you, it's working. Okay, let's go back. Sorry. Now it's going. Okay, got the output. The image, we have a method to web detection. It's gonna go, it can get those properties, like the labels it showed on the Volkswagen Beetle, or it can also show visual similar images. In this case, I found 10 images, they're similar, and all using just the client library without having to deal with Guzzle and authentication, which is usually a pain. And those are images that are similar, but this case, what is similar that we consider is there a puppy on there? And there's pictures of people with puppies, which it is the idea of getting similar images. I wouldn't get pages with that picture because I did not post that picture publicly. And you can try yourself on the Google Cloud website. I'm gonna get a picture here, and I'm gonna show you the crop hint because I'm not good enough to do a JavaScript thing to show beautifully for you. So here it detects that it is a drink or cocktail, and the properties here, you can see colors, and if you're using Instagram, which it is usually the aspect ratio of 1, it can tell you where you should crop that image using that library Imagic, I think. You could be using that to crop your image with the data that returns to you. It also tells you here the JSON response from that. And those are the entities, the colors, and here it is the crop hint annotation, which, let me increase, tells you the vertices of the polygon. But sometimes stuff doesn't work as you want it. I want a crop hint for this picture. And it's can detect your face sentiment in general. And the properties here, it's not getting a really good type crop hint, in my opinion, to crop the image itself. And it can say, I'm racy, but I don't know why. Why? Don't know. It's not perfect, but it solves a lot of problems. And yes, those are Disney pins. And it read Giggle here instead of Google, but that's okay. But let's say you want to have your own image, you have your own data set. You don't want to use what we have. You want to use what you have to predict your model. And that's what I found it nice. We're going to use the cloud to predict clouds. And I know it's a bad pun. But here we have like five types of clouds that I labeled. You can upload the images here directly from your computer. You don't need to know machine learning to use this. This is a custom model that you're training. Or select a CSV file from Google Cloud Storage saying the image URL and the label. And that's what I did. Once you do that, you train your model. Come on. I already trained. There is a thing called confusion matrix. It's when the machine thinks the one thing is similar to the other. For instance, the cumulus type of cloud is very similar to the autostratus cloud by 18%. So the prediction that's gonna, we only have 60% of confidence of predicting the autostratus cloud. Unfortunately for the AutoML, yet we don't have a client library on PHP. We do have a REST if you want to implement yourself. And you do have the Python, Java, and Node.js libraries. And let's predict a cloud. I'm going to select an image here. The first one, it's a cirrus, because I got a cloud expert to tell me. And the next one is a cumulonimbus. So let's see if the upload works. Wow, nice. A live demo. Okay. Cirrus, as I said it before, and the other image. And it tells you, because based on the confusion matrix, how much confidence you have, and then like for every image that you have using the Google API, it's gonna tell you a confidence level, and you decide like how much percentage is acceptable for you to be using that. Another one is this one, which is a cumulonimbus with 97.6% of confidence. Going back to the slides. So basically, this is the first example that I showed. I put it, it's the same code up and down. I did not know which one was going to look better. So I put it both of it. So basically with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12 lines of code, you can get a landmark detection. That's just because I'm using try-catching here. It could even be less than that. But you don't need to do anything complicated to be able to use this kind of thing. One particular key use case we have here, Ben told yesterday how to create a module in Magento. You could create a module that once you receive the upload image from your product, it would tell you not categories, would tell you characteristics of that image for you to maybe you create tags or create categories within the store yourself. This one I'm just going to mention briefly. It's Google Cloud Video Intelligence. It does the same thing with the image, but also with videos. And the cool thing about that, for like this session's being recorded, for each port scene, it gives you annotations what's going on. So I'm here, and it's going to tell that I'm a public speaking at this moment, and for each moment on the video, and it can detect also shot changes. If someone edits a video, it can detect when was that shot changed. Also explicit content detection. And because of regulatory reasons, regionalization here, it's nothing to do with translation, but with like where the image is being processed, which data center is going to be used. So that's called video intelligence. So you can understand your video in shot frame or the video level the same way we did for images. You can do it with the video. This is an example of the JSON return, and it says that this scene in particularly, it's a bird's eye view. It's a view from up, and when it started, the start time offset and the end time offset, and which confidence, as I said before, it always tells you the confidence of that scene. It is a bird's eye view, on their opinion. Second one is Google Cloud Speech. Third one, it's Google Cloud Speech. I had demos for video and speech, but like audio demos and video demos is hard to give because nobody listens in the end, it just keeps noise. So I'll put the links together with the slides later. You can do speech-to-text transcription on over 100 training languages. So let's say you have a call center, and you're analyzing logs of calls. You can have a speech, get the transcript of that, and tell on each timestamp what word was said, and also who said it if it is a conversation between two parties. So you can know if it was party A or party B that was saying one thing or another. That's embedded though. It's not general availability yet, but it is on the works. Also can do profanity filtering. And if you're using gRPC as protocol and unfortunately does not work with REST, it can do live transcription too, like closed captioning for your event or, again, maybe a call center or that kind of thing. So usually for you to do that, if you have a video like this conference here and you want to add subtitles, we extract the audio from the video, send the audio to Google Cloud Speech and get the transcription timestamps. And on the demo that I'm going to share with you, you can visualize and search through the keywords using UI that I created. Google Cloud Translation, I think that's very useful, especially because I'm not an native English speaker. I think I look at the Wikipedia. Singapore has 3 official languages, Mandarin, English, and Malay, I think it's pronounced. Yeah, thank you. You can do a translation from text, and if you have a text, it can detect you, and you don't know which language it is, what language it's going to be. So you can do that in over 100 languages that we have on our scenario. An example that I used a lot, it's this one where it shows the exit on different languages using the Google Cloud Vision API to get the OCR and to get to you what translation is going to be for that word. I have a demo here, and I'm not very creative with phrases. So I'm again requiring the dependencies here, instantiating the translation client, and this is going to be the text that I'm going to be translated. How long does it take for the plumber to fix the sink? It doesn't have any meaning. It's just one thing that I thought about it, and I'm going to try to translate to the native language from here. And if it's wrong, please tell me, and I apologize. I'm just trying to adapt the example for the audience, and that would be the translation. Is it right? Someone that knows? I don't know. Yeah? Okay, nice. But let's say I want to detect a language. This one I wrote in Portuguese. That's the different one. I want to detect which language it is. Bem-vindos a Singapura, which means welcome to Singapore. And that's in Portuguese. It found out for you what it is. You don't need to tell. Usually, when you do the translation, you should tell which language it's coming from, but it's not mandatory because it can detect which language it is. But if you know which language it is, you're going to have more precision on your translation. Let me get back. This is, again, is the same code that's on the Jupyter notebook that I did in there. And 4 lines of text, and you have a translation from something that you have. And this is one of my favorites, Google Cloud Natural Language. You can understand how a text has meaning, can be meaningful for your business or for your context. I'm going to show you examples. You can extract entities. In this case, entities is going to be, oh, is that a location? Is that a person or an object that's going to tell you? It can detect the sentiment. Is that positive? Is that negative? Is that neutral? It can do, so Portuguese is not easy, and the grammar books are really that thick usually, and I believe that Chinese or Mandarin is not easy either. So it can do syntax analysis on sentences, so it tells you what it is a noun and how they connect to each other, which verb is the main one, that kind of information. And this classifying content, it uses machine learning to tell you what a text is about. Unfortunately, that only works in English right now. So an example that I have in here for entities is I went to the restaurant and ordered sushi. The food was really good. So it has a localization, in this case is restaurant, and consumer goods, which it is sushi, and other categories, which it is food. I also analyze the sentiment. So a score tells you if it is positive, negative, and neutral. Magnitude tells you from 0 to infinity how much that sentiment is ingrained on the sentence. So you see, as a document as a whole, the magnitude, this is a 0.9, and the score is 0.3. It's positive. But the first sentence is neutral, even though it's negative, but it's minus 0.25 to 0.25. It still is neutral. And the food is really good, I think, because of the really and the good. It knows it's positive and gave a higher magnitude than score too. Syntax analysis for that sentence, that's what I find it really cool. It tells you like what depends on what, a dependency tree for which verb depends on each other. That would be very useful for me when I was learning English, because I knew how to do this kind of stuff in Portuguese, but I did not know how to do it in English. And this, I think, it's just to be able to detect what it is without having to, I would cheat on the test probably, just doing this. I have a demo here. And this demo, I'm going to put together the Google Cloud Vision API, the Google Cloud Translate, and the Google language, because you're going to be translating a newspaper article from Brazil and tell you what it is about. There we go. So here I'm using the 3 libraries that I mentioned, language, translate, and vision. This is the article itself. People here will know what it is about, but you probably don't know. And this is actually a newspaper article that I took a picture. The first step is I want to translate that. To translate, I need to capture the text. So as we did it before, I'm instantiating the image client and getting the text detection here and get the annotation. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to tell you that 239 texts were found. It's words in this case. And this is the OCR of the newspaper. Notice that the dash, the hyphenization, and the break lines are in there. And my first thought was, this is going to mess up the translation. And when you do the translation, you just set the target language, in this case is in English, because I need to do classifying content in English. And I put this, but I don't need it. I was trying to do something. I'm going to execute again. Okay. So the hyphenization and the break lines did not influence on the translation at all. The translation is not perfect, but it's good enough for you to get what's going on. And I'm going to classify that content. I want you to tell me what that content is about. And in this case, it's about jobs, education, and admission tests with 50% of confidence. Am I wrong? They know, and I'm not lying to you. I have another one which it is in Dutch, and I don't know Dutch at all. You know? That's true. Let me change the image here. Oh, that's cheap. This is a bit easier because it has Wi-Fi on it. But it's in Dutch, you know. And Dutch it's impressive, it's hard. I'm not saying anything. So it got the words that were in the flyer with all of the break lines, and same thing with the article. And it showed the translation in English, and some stuff did not translate it well, but again, I'm just trying to figure out what it is, the content of that. And with 66%, it's about computers, electronics, and networking. I kind of get that from the Wi-Fi, but I just wanted to be sure. It's good? No, thank you. It's not perfect, but like this word here, I think, don't know what it means. I think there's two words together. That's why it didn't translate. I don't know. So let me go back. So those are examples of stuff that you can build on your own. Like, who here is a WordPress developer? No one? Okay. Because I had an example of WordPress. Let's say you're writing your blog post and you want to categorize something and put tags on it, and maybe the suggestion from the machine learning while you typed your post can tell you what you should categorize it for to be more people be able to find it more easily. Or you could classify. We also have an AutoML version for this. Like we did with images with text classification. So you could, I saw an example of someone going through support tickets and using AutoML, and they had the text, and they trained the model with, you had need to have at least 10 examples for each one. And they were able to, with like 92% of confidence, get all the tickets corrected, and they had like over 3,000 tickets to classify, just using AutoML, without having to program anything. So that's some of the examples that you can be using it. So that's my website. That you can leave feedback there or in join in. That's my Twitter. I always post pictures of puppies, and get to know more about the APIs. And I'll be here if you have questions. Thank you.
Any questions for Gabi?
Hi.
Hi.
So I have two questions. One is, if I have my own model, can I use that with AutoML or any other of these sort? Let's say I have my own machine learning model and I want to use that just to save cost. I assume that if I have my own model, I can save cost. The second question, is this possible?
I didn't understand your question. I'm sorry.
I'll go slow now. Okay, so first question is that, is it possible that I can have my own machine learning model and I can upload on Google Cloud Platform?
Yes.
And then, okay, and will that save some bucks, or it does not matter, I have to pay per API usage?
The pricing, I need to check, because I usually, when I create the examples and demos, I just have my corporate billing account and I don't see the number.
Sure. Okay, so but it's possible that I can have my own machine learning model and I can use that?
Yes, we do have, like, if you want to do your own program your own model. We have a version of TensorFlow. TensorFlow is our machine learning software that's open source, but we have ML Engine, which is TensorFlow on Google Cloud, or you could use AutoML. The good thing is, everything that you use that's your data, it does not get incorporated into Google's data. We don't get your data to train our models to.
Right.
It's separated too.
So the thing is that if I use Cloud ML, I won't get this access to all these APIs, which is quite useful for developers who don't know machine learning. So I was thinking if it's possible to marry both of them, that I can have my own model, but it can talk to AutoML or something, and I can have easy access to all the AutoML libraries, which can be quite easy for us who don't know machine learning much.
I don't know machine learning at all. I just know APIs and how to implement client libraries.
All right, I think I get the idea. Thanks.
Any other questions?
If you have any questions and you're shy, I'll be here.
Right.
And I left some stickers, but I don't think there is any more. And I have some business cards if someone wants to contact me later with some questions about how to implement, and I can help you with that. Thank you.